Shalom. We are now on Psalm number 70. For the leader of David, Lahaskir. Hasten, O God, to save me, O Lord, to aid me. Let those who seek my life be frustrated and disgraced. Let those who wish me harm fall back in shame. Let those who say, Aha, aha, turn back because of their frustration. But let all who seek you be glad and rejoice in you. Let those who are eager for your deliverance always say, Extolled be God. But I am poor and needy. O God, hasten to me. You are my help and my rescuer. O Lord, do not delay. So let's talk for a moment about who are the seekers here. Who are the people that are seeking and what are they seeking? And there's two categories of seekers that the psalmist is referring to. The first category, again for a moment, imagining that he is putting himself in the shoes of King David, thinking of those who are threatening his life, imagining that those who are after him, who seek his life, praying that they be frustrated and disgraced. So he talks about, let those who seek my life be frustrated and disgraced. But the psalmist is, I think, really talking about anyone who he perceives to be his enemy, anyone who is threatening him, anyone who is seeking to do him harm. And that is one category of seeker. Those who seek to do him or anyone else unjustified harm. Those who wantonly look for the destruction and harm and demise of innocent people. That's one group of seekers. But then he turns to the other group of seekers. He says, let all who seek you be glad and rejoice in you. So he's talking, and by the way, the Hebrew is the same in terms of the seekers. Those who seek to do him harm, seek, the Hebrew word mivakshim or bakasha, mivakesh, to seek. And now those who are seeking God, those who are eager for God's deliverance, a different kind of seeker altogether. People of faith who are spending their days and their waking hours trying to draw nearer, trying to commune with God, trying to strengthen and firm up their faith and their connection with the divine being. It's a very different kind of seeker altogether, isn't it? The first kind, people who seek the harm of others and who somehow may find satisfaction and maybe even delight in the failure or the demise of their enemies. On the other hand, those who seek God, and by doing that, they would automatically, it would seem, wish that their enemies, rather than find harm and destruction, instead find a change of heart and deliverance from their own hateful attitudes. So what is really going on here? If the psalmist considers himself to be a seeker of God, a seeker after God, why is it that he seeks the disgrace and the destruction of his enemies? Why does he pray for vengeance and punishment against those who seek his destruction? In seeking God, I would like to believe that anyone would want, even their enemies, to be able to find the way back to goodness and righteousness. In the end, though, maybe the psalmist isn't looking for God so fervently, at least as reflected in this particular reading. Because in the end, he appears to be somewhat passive. He says, "But I am poor and needy. O God, hasten to me." He's waiting for God to approach him and to deliver him. "You are my help and my rescuer, O Lord, do not delay." The psalmist appears to be standing in place, waiting for God to come and rescue and deliver him. So rather than seeking God, it seems as if he is adopting more of a position of passivity. Maybe it is, in the end, the case that the psalmist doesn't include himself so much in the category of those who are seeking God in this moment. Let all who seek you be glad and rejoice in you. Perhaps he's thinking of other people who are people of faith, people who thirst for God, who seek God, and the psalmist wishes them well. May they rejoice in God. In contrast with those who seek the psalmist's harm and destruction. That's a different category altogether. The psalmist isn't the seeker here. He is not really the doer. He is the passive waiter, waiting for God to come and make everything better for him, waiting for God's deliverance. It's very difficult when you're in a position of passivity and when, rather than taking matters into your own hands or taking positive steps towards deepening faith and strengthening a connection with God, it's very easy sitting still or standing still to just expect that somehow, magically and miraculously, everything is going to get better and that God is going to somehow rush in and intervene and perform acts of deliverance and rescue. But life doesn't necessarily work that way. So we need to think about, what is it that we are seeking? Are we seeking a stronger and firmer connection with God, and in doing that, a stronger and firmer connection with other human beings at the same time? Or instead, are we focusing on thoughts of revenge and jealousy and ill will against those whom we consider to be our enemies? And when we do that, we are creating a schism and a divide, not only in our relationship with other people, but in our connection and relationship with God. So let's focus on trying harder in our lives to repair and strengthen our relationships with other people, while at the same time we are trying to strengthen and repair and improve our connection with the Holy One, with the divine being, with the God of all humankind, with the God of the entire universe. Thank you.